Hi, this is Meg from SwissWatchExpo, and this morning I'm going to answer the watch version of the question, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? In this case, it's the Rolex Datejust II and the Rolex 41. Hi, this is Meg from SwissWatchExpo. It's nice to be back with you today, and I just want to answer a fairly simple question on a couple of beautiful watches. People are always wondering which one came first, the Rolex Datejust II or the Rolex 41. So I'm going to answer those questions for you today and show you both of these beautiful timepieces. I was actually working with a Rolex traditional store when the Rolex Datejust II was introduced. It was a little bit confusing. It's a Datejust II with the Roman numerals. There's not a Datejust Roman numeral 1, so we were kind of wondering what the genesis of that was. It was introduced in 2009. This is actually the Datejust II. It's a beautiful timepiece. We were very excited to see that Rolex responded to the request for larger watches. The Datejust had always been a classic 36mm or smaller for ladies, and this was a great introduction to the larger 41mm watch, but it was called the Datejust II. This has a caliber 31-36 movement in it, Paraflex shock absorbers, which is very sustainable as far as the wear, and they had some beautiful watches and dials were introduced. This particular one is very classic, black dial baton markers. The Datejust II always had the oyster bracelet on it, and it was available and is available in the smooth or white gold fluted bezel. Also in steel and yellow gold, which in the Rolex land is referred to as Rolesor. This particular one, again, beautiful black dial, simple baton markers, oyster bracelet. Pretty straightforward. In 2016, Rolex decided to introduce the more current version of the Datejust, which now it's called the Datejust 41. That's really what makes more sense. They've always been referred to as a Datejust 31 or a Datejust 36, so now this is the Datejust 41. There were a couple of key new features that were introduced when they introduced this watch. This is a movement caliber 32-35. This was really when Rolex started talking about the superlative chronometers. Everybody's familiar with the COSC ratings on the watches. Rolex decided to go above and beyond with the superlative chronometer. The Rolex superlative chronometer rating is an additional rating to the COSC. It's a little more stringent and puts it through further testing with the movements actually cased in their watches for additional testing. Their rating is plus or minus 2 seconds. There's a couple of other really beautiful things that they introduced when they introduced the Rolex Datejust 41. As you can see with this one, they introduced the Rolesor, which is the steel and rose gold, which everybody was very excited about to see in the Datejust 41 size. This is one of my favorite chocolate brown dials. The other really beautiful thing about the Datejust 41 is finally they had a Jubilee bracelet for the larger 41mm watch. As you know, most Jubilee bracelets that were current at this time have a beautiful hidden clasp, but they went backwards a little bit. I don't consider it backwards, but they've introduced with this Jubilee bracelet a wonderful oyster clasp. And the reason they did that is it has that easy link extension. We all know, especially here in the South in Atlanta, it gets a little humid outside, a little bit warm. You are able to adjust this with a 5mm extension during the day. So it's a simple, very comfortable, easy link on the clasp. So I love the combination and ingenuity of the Jubilee bracelet along with the oyster clasp. They also were able to integrate the bracelet slightly more in the casing on the 41, and then the biggest difference in the caliber and the movements is this is a 70-hour power reserve compared to the 48. So which one came first, the Datejust II or the Datejust 41? The Datejust II. But they're both fine watches, and we have a lot of them to choose from. So give us a call at SwissWatchExpo, and we'll be happy to pick out the best one for you.